And welcome back to the Daily Wrap. I'm Joe Concha along with co-host Rick Unger, Heather Hansen, and Noah Rothman. They are here.
Nobody wanted to say, hey, there we are.
Republicans are raising the stakes in their attempt to get Hillary Clinton's State Department emails and other documents related to the 2012 Benghazi attack. How? Well, they're threatening to slash 15% off the State Department's operational fund until all document requests are satisfied. In a statement, Benghazi Committee Chairman Trey Gowdy says, and we quote, "The committee has been patient, but that patience is worn thin after months and in some instances years of non-compliance. In the interest of transparency for the American people and congressional oversight, state must improve its public record compliance. That is why the next step is being contemplated." Just yesterday, Gowdy grilled a State Department official on the process of releasing Mrs. Clinton's emails.
Do you know what mechanism she would have gone through to determine herself what was public record and what was private, or what may have been a mixed use? Do you know who made that initial determination for the former secretary?
She has told us that she erred on the side of inclusion.
So, should we take Hillary Clinton's word for it that she erred on the side of inclusion when it comes to her emails, Mr. Rothman?
I'm going to surprise you and say no.
Shocking.
Yeah, I'm really cutting against type here. Good for the House. The House Permanent Select Committee, when they released their report, was very favorable to the CIA and very unfavorable to Secretary of State Clinton's State Department, particularly on the issue of Benghazi and putting security where it needed to be. If they do cut funding, State Department will howl and cry that they have been robbed of all the necessary tools they need to keep Americans safe abroad. They didn't do that when they had the appropriate funding. They need to really force this issue, and good for them.
I'm not going to ask you, could this backfire on Republicans? I will set it up for you nice and easy. How will this backfire on Republicans?
Well, first of all, I don't think it'll be the people who will be howling and crying if you shut down the State Department. I'll show you. Will be the American people. We have a State Department for a reason, actually. You may not like the last person who ran it, you may like the next one, but we have a State Department for a reason. But can I get to the real point here?
Sure.
All we talk about when we talk about the Benghazi Committee is Hillary Clinton. Can any of you tell me the last time any of them even talked about Benghazi? No, you can't. And the reason that you can't is because this committee has nothing to do with Benghazi. This committee is all about what can we do to bug Hillary Clinton and make her look bad.
So it's a political witch hunt in your mind.
It's completely that, because they don't talk about Benghazi. Guess what? There's information on Benghazi that's not only at the State Department. Why aren't they talking about that?
But here's the thing, Rick. I disagree with you that the point is Benghazi. I think the point is the failure of this administration to be transparent.
It's the Benghazi Committee.
No, it's not. But they're talking
Yes,
about
it really
any
is.
Freedom of Information Act, the Freedom of Information Act, and their D+ or something rating and getting information out. No, it is the fact that they've been holding hearings all week on the Freedom of Information Act,
Right.
and the fact that every single part, if you read the Wall Street Journal today, one of the op-eds talking about the lack of transparency and the fact that this administration refuses to hand
And
over
we have this thing
anything,
called
whether
the
it be
Oversight
Benghazi,
Committee
whether
for
it be
that.
the IRS as well.
Can I ask you a
They
question?
also
What's the name of
Congress?
this committee?
This particular committee, sure.
Rick,
But
the only
that's
reason why we know about these emails in the first place is because of the Benghazi Committee.
Great.
If you're interested in transparency
It's
and government and good
wonderful, and
governance,
I say go
then
after
you should
it.
then you should be thanking the Benghazi Committee for exposing it.
But would they do
And-
me a favor then? Would they investigate Benghazi, which is what they were formed to do? We have this little thing called the House Oversight Committee to take care of those problems. And if they want to put it in there and do
I'm
this...
sure you'd be praising former Chairman Darrell
Well,
Iss's
no,
work
because
up
he was
the-
even
up
worse.
here and there.
But
Yeah,
all I'm
exactly.
saying is, while you're busy trying to get Hillary, go do your thing, knock yourself out. Can you at least mention Benghazi since you're the Benghazi Select Committee?
The point of today's discussion is the fact that they are trying to use the power of the purse to ensure that there is some transparency here. And I just have to make a point because it's something that we said and hasn't been clear. When we talk about the fact that they're not going to have the money that they need, they have guaranteed that President Obama will get all of the money that he needs for the safety of our embassies. Where this money is going to be coming from is voluntary contributions to places like the UN. So there's not going to be a
I think
safety
they should
issue,
do
and that
it.
needs to be
Oh, I
quite
think
clear.
they should absolutely
the
do it.
15%, The 15% takeaway is going to maybe force them to actually do what they're supposed to do.
They should do it. And by the way, what's the name of the committee?
Benghazi. It's totally
Okay,
irrelevant.
moving on from one government entity to another, the agency that granted tax-exempt status to the multi-billion-dollar Church of Scientology has now granted it to the First Church of Cannabis in Indianapolis. Rick would be a member, but he would be Jewish. Anyway, and not
Well, I
only
can be converted, you
That's
know.
true. You can be converted. And not only were they granted tax-exempt status, but it was approved in less than 30 days. Try getting your tax refund that quickly. By the way, pot is illegal in Indiana, which could pose a little bit of a challenge to the more than 600 members of the church who believe consuming marijuana on a daily basis is a sacrament. Cue Rick. Is this religious tax-exempt status thing becoming a joke, Miss Hanson?
It is absolutely becoming a joke. And this whole situation is like a law school question for an exam because it involves so many things. It involves the Religious Freedom Restoration Act that was just signed into law by Governor Pence last Thursday, and whether or not the fact that they're doing something that is illegal, can they be arrested for it if they say I'm doing it because it's my religion? So there's a whole lot of stuff there. The fact that now the IRS granted them tax-exempt status in 30 days is another problem. It's just rife with discussion.
15 seconds.
I'm going to show a little love to my friends in the Tea Party. If they're angry today, I don't blame them one bit. You know what? Under a good situation, it takes a year to a year and a half to get a 501c3 through. Never mind what was done to the Tea Party groups applying. And this, they get through in 30 days?
No, last
What
word.
in the
I
world?
can't agree with Rick on
Yes,
more.
it-
We have a little bit of unity. But yeah, I think that it would be a little bit troubling if we were to go after tax-exempt status for churches, particularly because it's a constitutional issue for a reason. You don't want to harass somebody for their legitimate beliefs, but I think if we have to start discussing what legitimate beliefs really
this
are.
this
Well,
has been
that's what
around
the courts have to
for
decide.
goodness, at least 3 weeks.
Right, exactly.
Well,
30 days or
this
less.
proves once again that pot helps people get along for whatever reason. Anyway, should the U.S. leave forces in the Middle East forever? We tell you about that next. Don't go anywhere.